Hey friend, please subscribe. 1 second for you. Big deal for me. There were 3 candles on the cake. I'm 38. I didn't ask why. She lit them silently, didn't look at me, and muttered, "Make a wish." Not happy birthday. Not even a smile. Just that, cold, flat, robotic. I blew them out. One went out late, like it didn't want to die. The silence after was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Then she walked off, straight into the hallway, phone already in her hand. She wasn't texting. She was scrolling. Aimlessly. The way you scroll when you're trying to look busy so you don't have to talk to someone. I stood there, alone, in front of a lopsided grocery store cake with a missing corner. Chocolate. I hate chocolate. The cake wasn't for me. I don't know who it was for. Maybe him. I only say that because an hour later, while she was in the shower, her Apple Watch buzzed on the counter beside me. And I swear I wasn't trying to snoop, but it was right there. Bright screen. Bold letters. You leaving soon? Can't wait to unwrap you tonight. Smiling face with horns. No name. Just a number. I stared at that screen so long the message faded. And then I just sat there in the bathroom, beside her watch, while she sang in the shower like this was any other night. She even had the nerve to sing happy birthday. To herself. Not to me. She came out of the shower in one of those oversized hotel robes she likes to steal. This one had a faded logo from a resort in Vermont. Hair wrapped in a towel, face flushed, humming like she hadn't just ghosted my birthday and received a sext on her watch. She saw me sitting on the bathroom counter and said, "You look like you saw a ghost." Then she laughed. Like that was funny. Like that was normal. I wanted to ask her, right then, about the message, about the 3 candles, about everything. But I didn't. I just said, "You done?" and walked past her. I don't know why I didn't ask. Maybe because I already knew the answer. Maybe because I was afraid she'd lie with that same soft voice she uses when she tells the waiter, he'll have the chicken, like I don't have a mouth. Or maybe because I've learned that silence hurts less than gaslighting. That night, she didn't sleep beside me. Said she had a late Zoom call with her West Coast client. She even put on her blazer, over her pajamas, and shut the guest room door like she was doing me a favor. I listened through the wall. Nothing. No typing. No voices. No clicking. Just silence, and once, a stifled laugh. She doesn't laugh during work calls. At 1:43 a.m., I got up and knocked. No answer. I opened the door slowly. The room was empty. The window was cracked open, curtain blowing in the breeze. Her phone was gone. So was the blazer. I stood in that room longer than I care to admit, looking at the indentation she left on the guest bed, like it held some kind of truth I hadn't caught yet. I even sniffed the pillow. I don't know why. I wish I could tell you it smelled like another man's cologne. It didn't. It smelled like her lavender shampoo and lies. She came back around 3 a.m., tiptoeing through the kitchen like a teenager sneaking in after curfew. When she saw me sitting in the dark, she froze. "You scared me," she said. "You weren't in the guest room," I replied. "I went for a drive. I needed air." That was it. That's all she gave me. No apology. No explanation. Just I needed air. Like she was the one suffocating. And maybe she was. Maybe I've become suffocating, needy, as she likes to call it. I mean, hell, I threw a pity party with 3 candles and bought myself a balloon. That's not exactly alpha behavior. But I'm not crazy. I know what I saw, and what I felt, and what she's trying to hide. The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I logged into our shared laptop, the one she used for work before she got the newer MacBook. She hadn't cleared the cache in months. Emails, files, search history, all there. Waiting, begging to be read. One folder was called Fitness Clients. That was odd because she's not a trainer. But she's been going to this upscale gym since April. The kind of place that gives you eucalyptus towels and charges extra if you sweat too loud. I opened the folder. Inside were photos. Dozens. Some of her. Some of a man I didn't recognize. Grainy locker room selfies, mirror pics, shirtless. He looked mid-30s, tattooed, with that smirk people only wear when they think there's someone's secret. One video stopped me cold. It was muted, but I didn't need sound. It was her. In a car. His car, judging by the dashboard. She was in the passenger seat, laughing, really laughing, and looking at him like he hung the moon. She leaned over, kissed his neck, then whispered something into his ear and pulled away. He looked smug. I closed the laptop. I felt nothing. No rage. No tears. Just stillness. Like when a power outage hits and all the machines go quiet, and you realize how much noise you've been living in. She cheated on me. I knew it now, but knowing didn't help. What scared me more was how easy it seemed for her. How she didn't flinch. How she still looked me in the eye, cracked jokes, hummed in the shower, while she was betraying me with a man who sends devil emojis and calls her wrapped. That morning, I packed a bag. Not to leave her, not yet, but because I realized I couldn't confront her without more. Without proof. Without a plan. And maybe, I don't know, without backup. Emotional, moral, or otherwise. Because I might be soft. I might be needy. But I'm not stupid. I needed to know why. And I needed to know how long. So I called someone I never thought I'd call. My brother. The one who said on my wedding day, "She's beautiful. Man, just make sure you're not her side quest." He was right. And now he's the only one I trust. When I told my brother I needed his help, he thought I was asking to crash on his couch again. I wish it were that simple. I met him at a diner off Route 9, the kind of place where everything smells like burnt toast and regret. I slid the laptop across the table and said, "Don't talk. Just look." He didn't say a word for 5 full minutes. He watched the video, scrolled the pictures, read the email thread I had opened. When he finally spoke, his voice dropped an octave. "You're being played, Breck. Hard." No part of me was surprised to hear it out loud, but hearing it in someone else's voice, it hit different. I felt like I'd just signed the death certificate for a marriage I wasn't ready to bury. "You think I should confront her?" I asked. He shook his head. "No. You confront her now, you'll get lies. You wait, you'll get truth." He told me to sit tight for a few days. He had a guy, I didn't ask what kind of guy, who could help get more info. I didn't press. I just nodded. When I left the diner, the sky had gone gray like the universe was reflecting my mood. That night, Calista came home earlier than usual. She brought sushi. My favorite. Except she forgot I don't eat eel. "Thought you loved this one," she said, fake smile in full bloom. I chewed it anyway. I didn't even taste it. I was too busy watching how easily she lied. How comfortable she was in this role she'd written for herself. Loyal wife, tired from work, ordering eel for the husband she forgot. Then, just as I was cleaning up, her phone buzzed. She snatched it faster than I've ever seen her move. She laughed awkwardly and said, "Stupid group chat." She doesn't have a group chat. I know all her friends. They're all silent lately. Ghosts. So I smiled back. Not because I believed her, but because I was done showing my cards. Inside, my stomach churned. Outside, I looked like a man at peace. But a war was about to start. 3 days later, my brother texted me a single sentence. "Check your email." Not at home. That was it. No emojis. No jokes. Just that cold line sitting on my screen like a loaded weapon. I got in my car and drove to the back lot of an abandoned drive-in theater, a place we used to sneak beers at in high school. I parked facing the torn-up screen and opened the email. There were 3 attachments. The first was a set of photos taken from a distance. Calista, wearing the red coat I bought her for our anniversary, standing outside a sleek black car, smiling, then climbing into the passenger seat. Her hand lingered on the driver's shoulder longer than it should have. You don't touch a coworker like that. You don't smile like that unless something inside you is glowing for them. The second attachment was a short video, barely 20 seconds. Grainy. Shot through glass. It was the 2 of them at a cafe I'd never seen before, sitting side by side in a booth. She was holding his face. Not kissing, just holding it. Intimate. Reverent. The kind of touch we haven't shared in over a year. I didn't cry, but something inside me folded in half. The third attachment was a voice memo. Just 5 seconds. I pressed play and heard Callista's voice whisper, almost laughing. "He thinks I'm on a Zoom call. God, I hate lying, but it's just so easy." I dropped my phone. Literally. It bounced off the center console and hit the floor. There it was. The confirmation. Not just that she was cheating, I already knew that, but that she was enjoying it. Comfortable. Amused by how easily I'd been fooled. Like I was some sad clown dancing in the corner of a story I thought I was starring in. But here's the thing that really rattled me. My brother didn't just send those files to expose the affair. He sent them with a subject line that read, "You need to see what she's doing at the gym after hours." That wasn't in the attachments. So I called him. He answered immediately and said, "I didn't want to put it in writing. What I'm going to tell you, it's not just about her sneaking around." He paused. "She's been using you, Breck. Not just emotionally. Financially. That new account you guys opened last year, the Future House Fund, she drained half of it in March. It's gone. I couldn't breathe for a second. The world tilted. Gone where? Not to a house. That's all he said. And then he told me to meet him that night, after dark. He had something to show me. And whatever it wasn't just about love anymore. It was theft. It was deception. It was something darker than infidelity. And for the first time in this whole mess, I felt something stronger than sadness. I felt fear. We met behind a storage facility just past midnight. My brother's truck was already there, engine off, parked under the one broken light in the lot. He handed me a flash drive without a word. I plugged it into my laptop right there on the tailgate, using his hotspot to open the folder he'd prepared. Inside were security cam pulls. 5 clips, all from the same gym, all after hours, and all featuring my wife. The first showed her entering the building around 11:40 p.m., hoodie up, alone. No gym bag, no water bottle, just her and her phone. The second clip was from the lobby camera. She wasn't headed to the weights or treadmills. She walked straight through, swiped a keycard she wasn't supposed to have, and disappeared into a staff-only door labeled Private Training. My hands started shaking. Clip 3 jumped to 15 minutes later. She reappeared in a different outfit, tight black leggings and a cropped hoodie I'd never seen before. She looked different, hair tied high, confident, like someone stepping into a version of themselves they don't show at home. Clip 4 was worse. A man, the same one from the cafe, arrived through the side entrance. No camera caught him entering the front. He walked like he belonged there. Calista met him at the door, wrapped her arms around his neck, and said something that made him laugh so hard he doubled over. No kiss, just closeness, familiarity, like this had been going on for a while. The final clip was silent, no audio, no context, but it was the most disturbing. They were in a side room, maybe in an used yoga studio. Lights off except for one LED bar glowing red. Calista walked over to a folding table, pulled out a small black lockbox, and opened it. I couldn't see what was inside, but the man took something out and slid it into his pocket. Then he hugged her. My brother leaned against the truck and said, "That room isn't on the gym's leasing plan. No one pays rent on it. It's not supposed to be there." "What the hell is this?" I asked. He shrugged. "That's what you're going to find out." Then he handed me a second flash drive, this one blank. "Your turn," he said. "Start recording." I started tailing her 2 nights later. It felt ridiculous at first, like I was playing spy in my own life. I borrowed my brother's old Honda, different plates, darker tint, no Bluetooth, no tracking. I wore a ball cap and pulled my hoodie up like I was hiding from the world, which I guess I was. She left the house around 10:45 p.m., saying she had a migraine and was going to the pharmacy. I said nothing, just nodded like the idiot husband she clearly thought I was. I followed her for 17 minutes. She didn't go to the pharmacy. She drove across town to a building I'd never noticed before. Industrial, quiet, no sign, no lights except a single strip along the roof. She parked in the back. I kept a few cars distance, then turned off the engine and waited. She sat in her car for a while, staring at her reflection in the rearview mirror, fixing her hair. Then she got out and walked around the side of the building, through a rusted blue door. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. I started to think maybe I was wrong. Maybe it really was a pharmacy. A weird one. For migraines. In a warehouse. But then a second car pulled in. Not the guy from the gym. Someone else. Older. Clean cut. Gray beard. He wore a suit, no tie, and carried a briefcase. He walked through the same door she had. And he looked around first. Not like someone who forgot his keys. Like someone checking for tails. I didn't follow them in. I'm not reckless. Not yet. But I waited. After 45 minutes, the door opened again. Calista came out first. She looked happy. Not just in a good mood, radiant. Like someone who had just accomplished something. She turned her head, scanned the lot, and then, and I swear I'm not imagining this, she looked directly at my car. And smiled. Not a startled smile. Not a surprised one. It was knowing. I ducked down instinctively, heart hammering. But she didn't do anything. She just got into her car and drove off, smooth and slow, like nothing was out of place. I didn't follow her this time. I couldn't. I sat in the dark for another 20 minutes, frozen, sweating, nauseous. Because either she didn't see me and the smile was a coincidence, or she knew. And if she knew, then whatever she's doing isn't just cheating. It's something else. Something she's not afraid of me discovering. Which means she's either way too confident, or I'm already too late. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about the red-lit room in that video. About the briefcase guy. About her smile when she looked at my car. I barely slept. My mind kept rewinding the moment she walked out of that strange building like nothing mattered, like none of it could touch her. But what ate at me more than the cheating, more than the money, more than the lies, was how calm she was. Like this was all just routine. She left for work around 8:15 a.m., same as always, in that crisp navy coat she wears when she wants to seem like a CEO. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "Don't forget to take the trash out." And just like that, she was gone. But she made a mistake. She left her purse. She never leaves her purse. I don't know if she was rushing or distracted, but there it was, sitting on the entryway bench like a trap. I stared at it for a full 5 minutes before touching it. My hands shook as I opened the flap. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, a second phone? A keycard? Anything. What I found was worse. A single metal key on a black tag labeled Unit 4C. No branding. No chain. Just a key sitting loose, like it was meant to be found. Or meant to be forgotten. I took it. I drove back to that industrial park she visited 2 nights ago. Parked far away. Walked the last 2 blocks. It was just afternoon. No cars in the lot. No signs of life. I circled the building until I found the side entrance again. The rusted blue door. I took a breath, slipped the key in. It turned. The inside was colder than I expected. Concrete floors, exposed beams, a long hallway lined with doors. All closed, all silent. I walked until I saw it. Unit 4C, stenciled in fading black letters. I unlocked it. What I found inside wasn't illegal. Not technically, but it felt wrong. Too clean. Too designed. 1 desk. 2 chairs. A camera on a tripod pointed at a wall painted blood red. And on the desk, a stack of folders. Each labeled with a name. None of them mine. I didn't open them. I just stood there, breathing in something I couldn't name. Power? Secrets? Manipulation? Then I heard footsteps. Not outside, inside. Behind another door deeper down the hall. I didn't wait to find out who it was. I relocked the door, slid the key back into my pocket, and walked out without looking back. But now I knew something I hadn't before. This wasn't just cheating. This was control. And whatever Calista was part of, it had rules. And I had just broken one. That night, I put the key back in her purse and waited. I didn't say anything. Didn't ask questions. Just watched her go about the evening like nothing was unraveling. She made dinner, lasagna, my favorite, and asked about my day. I gave her one-word answers. She didn't notice, or pretended not to. But something changed in me. I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't confused. I was done guessing. So when we went to bed, I waited until the room was dark, and then I said it. Calm, quiet, simple. I know about Unit 4C. The silence that followed was dense. She didn't move for a moment. Then she rolled onto her back and stared at the ceiling. No denial. No outrage. Just a long exhale. "How much do you know?" she asked. "Enough." Another pause. Then I should probably tell you the rest. What followed was not a dramatic confession. No tears. No begging. Just the raw truth. Stripped, uncomfortable, and strangely human. She told me that for months she'd been going to therapy. Not the soft kind, but a highly structured, borderline experimental type of coaching/behavioral work run out of that warehouse. It wasn't a clinic. It wasn't licensed. It was a private network for people trying to recover from emotional detachment. Some secretive, underground program marketed to high-functioning people who had become relationship blind. The man she met wasn't her lover. He was her accountability coach. The red-lit room was a kind of simulation space where they filmed behavioral interactions for playback and correction. Her smiles, her whispers, even the body language, rehearsed, meant to challenge her avoidance patterns. She had paid for all of it herself, secretly, yes, and had used part of the house fund to do it, which was the betrayal she did admit to. But she said she never told me because she didn't want me to think she was broken. She started crying halfway through. Not dramatic sobs. The quiet kind. The kind you try to hold back, but can't. "I didn't cheat on you," she said. "But I shut you out. I didn't know how to feel close anymore. And instead of telling you, I treated you like the problem. And when you started noticing, I got scared." For the first time in months, maybe longer, I believed her. Because it wasn't a rehearsed explanation. It was messy. Incomplete. Flawed. It was real. We talked for hours. About the distance between us. The routines we buried our marriage in. The way I stopped asking, and the way she stopped answering. About how easy it is to let resentment become muscle memory. And in the end, she looked at me and asked the one question I didn't expect. Do you still want to try? I didn't say yes right away. I needed time. We both did. But the next morning, she handed me her phone, her laptop, the gym key, everything. No passwords, no hesitation. And she said, no more secrets. Not from either of us. That was 3 months ago. We're still together. We're in couples counseling now, the real kind. The boring, licensed kind. We go every Thursday, and sometimes we fight in the car on the way home, but we talk more now than we have in years. We laugh more. We look at each other. And sometimes that's enough. She didn't cheat on me, but something broke between us. And for a while, we both tried to survive alone. Now we're trying to rebuild it. Together. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all.